Afternoon, folks. Welcome to the View podcast for the match preview for Derby County versus Leeds United. Back on the road again, 2 on the bounce. And fortune's starting to go our way a little bit on the road. The form is slowly starting to turn Leeds into the fourth best away record so far this season, to go along with the best home record in the division. The away record, as we said before, will be very key for Leeds season this year if they want to get automatic promotion. But we're going to have a look to this game after a very professional performance against Stoke City. I'm delighted to be joined by Andrew Stats Dalton to dive into this. And I want to get Stats' thoughts on the Stoke game as well. But first and foremost, Stats, how are you? Happy Christmas and how are things?
Yes, happy Christmas to you too and all the viewers out there. And it's kind of came and gone, hasn't it? It always does with Christmas Day. Yeah. And we're on to the 28th today. Obviously Christmas was made by Leeds United sitting at top of the tree after a very professional performance from what I could see of the Stoke City game, because it was extremely foggy.
You could see, yeah.
365. And Narcis Palash became the latest incumbent to be sacked. I think he's the third this season or the second this season. I think Errol Bullen was the first, the fourth this year after Wayne Rooney and David Wagner after losing to Leeds United. So all in all, a very good Christmas so far. Back-to-back victories obviously against Oxford and Stoke, and they're looking to make it 3 in a row. It's tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, I lose track of all days over Christmas.
I don't know what day it is anymore, mate. I've no idea.
I think it's Saturday, but there's no football, so it all feels very, very weird. All doing well, and looking forward to doing our first double of the season. It's amazing how quick we've had the turnaround at the start of December to now for the last game of 2024, and to finish on 97 points for the calendar year, which would be some achievement for Daniel Farke's side.
Yeah, 97 points, but no trophy yet. But coming. We'll park the 90-point trophy from last season over here, and we'll wait for the 97-point trophy to come in from this side.
Yes.
Leeds United, the manager killers of the championship over the last 12 months, very much so. And it'll come into this game against the Derby County side that actually, do you know what? Let's pause that. Let's go back and talk about the Stoke City performance. Away from home against a tricky side that we weren't fancied against in terms of, I suppose, from our own fan base, me included. We all looked at this and went, this was the one last year where it got a bit wobbly. It's the away form's not being great this season. If we're going to drop points, it's going to be this game. And I thought we were very, very good. And the one thing I want to talk about, and we'll talk about in the Derby game as well, is we did still see that slow start from Leeds, and only for a very good save from Meslier. People are saying it was down, it was straight at him. It wasn't straight at him. It was to his side, and it's very, very close to him. It was a very, very snappy reaction to save that with his feet. An excellent save. But only for that, you're 1-0 down inside the first 10 minutes again. And then we know what happens there. So they rode that, and then they came into the game. And I thought, Stats, they were very, very good. Yes. Again, maybe question our finishing at times, but created a ton of chances, which is the most important thing. Against a half-decent Stoke side, who outside the first 10 minutes didn't really want to play. But Leeds, that's 2 games in a row where Leeds have been able to break these sides down, which I think is an important step for them this year.
Yeah, I think obviously the save after the minute by Meslier was important, and I know he's had a lot of criticism this season, but he for the last few games he's come up trumps, and I think after that Stoke didn't really show anything, to be really honest with you, and Leeds deservedly went on to win the game through 2 excellent goals from Joel Pirou. So they always say, can you do it on a cold Tuesday night in Stoke? It was a case of, can you do it on a cold, foggy, misty Thursday night in Stoke? And they did. I thought it was a very professional performance. They knew the results that had come in. Obviously, Burnley had beaten Sheffield United at Bramall Lane, very impressive victory. Sunderland had been held 2-2 at Blackburn. Sheffield Wednesday had come from 3 down to get a point at Middlesbrough, which is a fantastic performance from Danny Rowell's men. So it all set it up that Leeds knew that victory at Stoke, they'd be top of the pile, and it's always a bit of a slippery encounter down at Staffordshire. We never get an easy game down there, apart from the one we won 3-0 in Bielsa's championship winning season. But they produced the goods, and it was a very positive performance, and it's kind of got a little bit of the monkey off the back for the away performances, and I think that was important, because you looked at these 4 fixtures: Oxford, Stoke, Derby and Blackburn, you start thinking 9 points, 10 points, 7 points maybe, but potentially we can get 12 points, and if we can do that, we'll be top of the league come the FA Cup tie against Harrogate Town, ahead of the sort of the what I prescribe. I know we've had 23 games already, but I know what I describe as this sort of second half of the season and the start to be the business end of the season. So all very positive, excellent away performance, and now they've got to go and replicate that against the Derby County side, who come into it on the back of an excellent victory against Manchester West Bromwich Albion on Boxing Day.
Yeah, Yeah, I could have covered that better, mate. I think really good
I
fun.
tried.
Interesting comment from Gulf Coast, Florida, man of the Gulf Coast. Better to sell Meslier now, or at the end of this, or at the end of the season. I keep saying this to people. He's the vice captain.
Yeah,
He's
he's
not being
going nowhere.
sold before the
No,
end of this season.
no,
So, if
he's
I
not.
mean, people don't have to like him. They can say what you want, but the logical response to this is, and the reason, well, not the reasoning, but the rational response to this is he's not going anywhere. Farke
No,
has made him his vice captain. He's playing every
correct.
week. He's got a
Yeah,
backup goalkeeper in Carl Darrow, who is in very
yes,
good form for Wales and hasn't brought him in.
yes,
This isn't happening. So
correct.
people can say that every week
Yeah,
someone says it, and you're wasting your time and you're wasting
yeah,
your breath because it's not
yeah,
going to happen.
yeah.
If he does go,
But
it'll
yeah,
be at the
end of
end of the
the
season.
season.
And
Yeah,
yeah, the logical way is to wait this out. You don't want to take whatever about Melier's form, and it is up and down, but whatever about his form, he is a known entity within the squad. The players
yes,
know him.
yeah,
He knows the expectation of Leeds, the weight of there's a lot of weight on those players' shoulders this year. To bring in a goalkeeper at this point of the season from another club who's not ready to go, who maybe hasn't been playing a lot of first team football, and who doesn't know what the expectation level or is walking into a very pressurized environment around Ellen
correct.
Road right
Yeah,
now, you could derail your own
of
season
course you could.
accidentally. And
Yeah,
actually, the devil you know right now is
yeah,
probably better than the devil you don't. So yeah, it's an
yeah,
interesting one.
very
But
much so.
I'm starting a
It,
couple of questions that are coming in. The likes of this, I'm going to start this, Andrew. I'm going to come back to it towards the end because we are going to talk briefly about January as well.
yes,
And hello to Chufla, who's finally caught a live preview. Great, delighted you're here.
lovely.
But yeah, Stats, we move on and let's talk about Derby County. And let's
Yes,
talk about some options that opportunities Leeds have coming into this game. Leeds have
yeah,
yet to win 3 games on the bounce this season. We've done 2
yes,
twice.
yeah,
We've an opportunity to make it 3 in a row here
yes,
again in what should be a winnable game. And it will again get the monkey off the back and put some real form together. You
yeah,
would like to see Leeds do that.
yeah,
And obviously, if we win this, it'll be the first time this season we put 2 away wins on the bounce back to back as well. So from that perspective and from a confidence level, hugely important one for Leeds.
yeah. Yeah, I think to go into the new year, I think if we can get that victory back to back away from home, it's not an easy place to go. Derby County have just come up. I thought they were absolutely appalling at Ellen Road. I think even Paul Warren sort of said as much, didn't he, that he had no intention of trying to win that football match. And it just gives Leeds a chance. And I think they did back to back away wins against Sheffield Wednesday and Cardiff, actually, August, September time. So they'll be looking to do that for the second time this season. But won't be easy. Obviously, they'll be riding high after that victory against West Brom. They've just come up again from League One after finishing. I think they won the League One last season, and there's always a little bit of needle with Derby Leeds going back to sort of the Brian Clough, Don Revie days, and obviously there's some wonderful clips of Norman Hunter and Francis Lee belting each other back in the 70s, and obviously with the Frank Lampard stuff at the playoffs, which unfortunately didn't quite go Leeds' way, and maybe also a reason that Leeds didn't go and win those playoffs and went up the following season. So it's never an easy place to go as Pride Park, but they've got an opportunity. I think they're unbeaten at home for a wee while as well, Derby County. They've got a chance here. They've won 2 in a row of Leeds, looking to make it 3, as you rightly say, for the first time this season. They're confident. They're playing with a bit of swagger at Leeds, and I have seen a few comments that have described it as boring. I don't see Leeds as boring. I see Leeds as efficient and kind of getting the job done, and that's what they're doing at the moment. And I think they've got another opportunity here to go and get 3 points and really set themselves up for the new year. And a game against Blackburn Rovers, again another game which won't be easy, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on in the week, against a John Tuesday side who's one of the only managers that Daniel Farke has yet to beat, whether it's been at Blackburn or Birmingham. So that's for after the Derby game. But if we win this game, I think it'll set us up beautifully to complete the Christmas period with 3 wins, really, which we've not done. I think since 2005-06 we won all our games over Christmas. So yeah, I fancy us. I do fancy us. It's never an easy place to go, but it's amazing what one victory can do for you, doesn't it? That you go to Stoke, a very difficult game in horrendous conditions. And I did like Melier's Instagram post. I was just passing the ball to someone, hoping it would reach a Leeds player, and thankfully it did. So yeah, tricky game. We know what Derby are going to come out. They want a little bit of revenge from the defeat earlier in the month, but it's an opportunity for Leeds to go and get 3 points. And with Sheffield United playing Evangelist West Brom, I think on the same day, you'd probably expect them to pick up points. I'm not sure where Burnley are on Sunday tomorrow.
Burnley away to Middlesbrough.
That's not easy. That is certainly
8 o'clock
not easy.
kickoff.
This game where Scott Parker has got his side. Finally playing as well after that wonderful victory at Bramwell Lane, but it's starting to turn into a bit of a 3-horse race at the moment. But chance for Leeds to get 3 points and start to try and hopefully pull away from the rest, and that's what you want in the second half of the season, to build up a little gap, and once you're in for the run-in towards the back end of the season, be in a comfortable position where we can kind of enjoy the running this year and not be biting our nails to 10 tucks after what happened last season.
Well, we'll get through this period first, and then we look at the March international break, and that's the next.
That's the one.
Moment.
Yeah,
to keep an eye on.
Definitely.
You say 3-horse race. Sunderland go to Stoke 3 o'clock tomorrow, which won't be easy for Sunderland. Although even though they've had their blip, they're still only 3 points behind Burnley and only 4 points behind us. So they're still
one game,
depending
doesn't it?
If teams have a wobble, they could get back in the mix. But
very much so.
Again, them going away to Stoke won't be an easy, straightforward game either. Burnley, when you look at it on the face of things, are pretty. Of all the teams this year, they haven't been below 6th in the table all season. They've been pretty consistent in around the 6th to 3rd. And then Sheffield United losing the weekend, but Leeds in a good spot. But if you look at Derby's home record's really, really good at the moment. They're looking for their 3rd home win in a row.
Yeah, doing really well.
They like to score goals at home. They've got 19 goals scored in 11 games, so they're averaging nearly 2 goals per game. And they've only conceded 10 in that 11 games as well. So they don't concede many at home, and they score plenty. So it might actually suit Leeds stats. It could be a more open, attacking game, which might fit us a bit better.
Yeah, and I think we have seen when teams come to attack Leeds, it's better if you look at the Swansea game in mid-November and you look at the Derby game at Ellen Road, and Leeds kind of came out, and the Middlesbrough game at Ellen Road as well. I'm not getting entirely what do you think feels to win promotion. It's way too early to talk about promotion just yet. But tricky game, very tricky game. We know what Derby can come at us. Obviously, Paul Warren will want a reaction after the disappointment at Ellen Road at the start of the month. But again, I keep using this word opportunity. If Leeds are going to win the league or try and get out this league, these are the games they're going to have to win. And if they can keep going away from, I know it's only one victory, but if they can get back-to-back away victories, suddenly that second half of the season looks a little bit brighter on paper, with another tough away game in the new year at Hull, obviously, who've just got Ruben Tellers as manager. So, yeah, as I say, always a bit of needle between Derby and Leeds, but I think if they can go to Pride Park and get a performance and get a victory, it makes that Blackburn Rovers game I won't say easier, but they can go into that game on New Year's Day a little bit more confident.
Yep, I agree. But let's move on, Stats, and talk about the players that everyone likes to talk about, and the players that have had the most criticism over the last couple of months. I don't like talking about agendas because I don't genuinely think most people have an agenda. I think people just have an opinion. And unfortunately, sometimes that opinion sticks. Joel Piroe does nothing. Brendan Aronson does nothing. Manor Solomon, send him back. Between the three of them have had 28 goal involvements so far this season out of Leeds' 43. They are involved in over half of all of Leeds' goals so far this season. Those 3 players who, if you look at social media, you're told every week without fail, they do nothing. And also on that, Brendan Aronson's got probably 2 assists chalked off what he should have because other players touched the ball before.
Which I think is ridiculous. Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, unfortunate for him. But if you look at it, Joel Piroe has 9 goals and 4 assists this season, a goal involvement every 98 minutes. So that's nearly an involvement every game from Joel Piroe.
Yeah.
Brendan Aronson, 6 goals, which is the same amount of goals as Jorginho Ruter scored last season in the league for Leeds. So he's leveled that. He's got 3 assists. He's got 12 more assists to get in the second half of the season to equal what Jorginho did last season, all in all.
Yeah.
And he cost Brighton £35 million to buy him, or £40 million to buy him from Leeds. So a player who does nothing, that's not bad. And Manor Solomon, taking the injury into consideration as well this season, and the infrequent starts that he has, 3 goals and 3 assists so far for him. And that's just talking about players that are unliked or are negatively spoken about consistently. We can talk about Dan James till the cows come home because he's having a phenomenal season. Yes. But I just want to get your opinion on this because I've stopped looking at the number 9 position because I think if Mateo Joseph starts, we get a lot of benefit from him. And if it's not working, Piroe will come on and probably score or get an assist. So I kind of don't really care anymore as long as they're contributing to goals in some way. And I think they both are. You look at Willie Nonto's goal a couple of weeks ago. It doesn't happen without Mateo Joseph's run to the front post. He's had a
Absolutely.
couple of moments this season where he's there. So they might not be the popular players, and people may want to say that they don't do anything. But if you look at the numbers that they're putting on the board, and as I said, Brendan Aronson's had 9 goal involvements in 28 games so far this season, which is a hell of a lot more than he's ever had. So again, you don't have to love them. You don't have to like them, especially the ones that left and came back. You can still be annoyed about that. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But you probably can't ignore that they are contributing right now.
The way I see it is look at the league table. We're top of the league. Joel Pirro's job is to score goals. He's scoring goals. Simple as that. Yes, he can be sometimes frustrating to watch, but he scored 2 very good goals on Thursday evening, and he took us to the top of the league. Brendan Aronson's job is to create goals. Exactly what he's doing. Same with Manuel Solomon. So for me, I've no issue with them. We're top of the league. It's a team game. They're all producing. We asked for goal contributions, goal assists from around the team, and all of a sudden that's what we're getting. And I don't think it's just a Leeds thing. I think it's a general consensus in football. Football fans like a scapegoat. Whether if it's going wrong for you, they'll pick a scapegoat. This player should be dropped. That player should be dropped. To me, we're on 48 points after 23 games. If you replicate that in the second half of the season, this time you will get promotion. You're going up with 96 points. It's that simple. And they're part of a team that are top of the league. And nice. Send us some money free falling if you fancy. Could always do with a little bit extra. But in all seriousness, we're top of the league. And I don't get this. I know in little bits of games people can say this, or why has he not done this? Why has he done that? Why is he interfering? Why is he doing from that? And I get that. But as a whole, as a collective, as a team, we're top of the table. And okay, we might have possibly won a couple more matches. We probably should have beaten Portsmouth on the opening
but you
day
can't
of the
be
season.
top of the league stats and carry that many players.
Correct.
So if people are saying they're doing nothing, then we're essentially carrying 3 players and we're playing with 8 players, which isn't the case.
You can't. And for me, I'm delighted. I'm delighted with the form. Yes, players will have dips and peaks and troughs. That's understandable because that's what happens in football. Maybe not in football, maybe in life, that you'll have a good day at work, you'll have a bad day at work. It's part and parcel of it. And for me, we're brilliant. We're top of the league, 48 points, 43 goals. I don't really know. There you go. There's your fiver. Absolutely. I don't really know what more people can expect. I kind of agree with that. There's always got to be a scapegoat somewhere along the way. We're 9 at home on the bounce. We've got 94 points this calendar year, and I don't really know what more people can expect. So we're doing fine. We're top of the table, as I say. We replicate that. We'll be in the Premier League next season. Now that's a time for another discussion. But for me, you can't carry 3 players, and Pirro's doing just fine. Got the goals, got the man of the match award at Stoke. I don't really know what more you can ask.
I mean, if you're saying if you were to replicate what you've done the first half of the season, if Pirro replicates what he's done the first half of the season, he finishes on 18 to 20 goals.
Yeah.
Hell of a season.
Brilliant.
Aronson will end up on 12 and he'll end up with 6 or 8 assists. So
perfect.
Fine.
Yeah.
I just think it's this, and you say people wait for the opportunity. He'll have an off day and they'll say, see, look, he does nothing. But I would like to just keep reminding people.
Yeah.
If Jorginho Rutter was Leeds United's saviour last year and the meltdown that happened when he left in the summer, Brendan Aronson scored the exact same amount of goals as he did in an entire season. He's done it in half that time. So I think there should be some. Anytime anyone says he does nothing, just roll that stat out and throw it at them and go, there you go. Tell me he does nothing now, So the assists need to go up, but I think he's getting there. I thought against Stoke, his passing in the final third was fantastic. He split the lines 3 or 4 times. And to be honest, sometimes I think the players that are getting on the end of his passes need to do him a favour and actually finish the ball, because the amount of times he puts players through and they don't score, that's not his fault. The ball's through and it's a good ball. So, all the other stuff, and I say the same thing about the politics stuff with Manuel Solomon. I don't care. Put on a Leeds United shirt. That's all I care about. I don't care your name, your gender, your sexual orientation, your religion, your political view. I couldn't give a toss about any of that. When you're in a Leeds shirt, all I care about is you putting in a performance and putting in a shift for Leeds United and getting this team where they need to go back to the Premier League.
And that's what he's doing.
As far as I'm concerned, right now they're contributing fine for Leeds United. If they do the same in the second half of the league, we go up as champions, and that's all we care about. So all good for me. Moving on then, stats. People will say winning is a win, but a goal isn't always the goal to tie into those players. If they score a goal, it's like, it's a flash in the pan. But if we win a game and we're lucky, you're told, no, win is a win, doesn't matter. So for me, Win is a win and a goal is a goal. If they're scoring, they're scoring. If they're winning, we're winning. Good, move on. We're fine.
Absolutely.
Stats, we've got to get into the talk about the potential rotation that we've seen. We saw out Tanaka rested at the weekend because of the internet or the break that they have in Germany, and he's not used to playing so many games. So Fark has taken the smart step to take him out of the firing line a little bit. So all good.
Yeah.
We are coming into this game looking at going, will he do it again? Ethan Ampadu, from an away perspective, very good defensively outside the first couple of minutes where he was a little bit shaky, settled into it, was back to his normal self. What kind of, we could possibly see some rotation in the wide areas. I personally would like to see Solomon and James maintained, and Pirro maintained, and Aronson maintained. The question is, do we see a change at left back with Sam Byram's minutes? The issue, do we see Schmidt come in there? Do we see a change in the centre of the park with Ampadu still on coming back from injury? Does he take him back out and put Tanaka back in, or does he maybe take Rothwell out? What do you think?
It's a good question, isn't it? Because I thought Rothwell was excellent on Thursday night. Yeah, absolutely. I think he might bring Tanaka back in, and I think he might take Rothwell out just to sort of rotate it. And I think the only other question mark is Sam Byram's fitness. Obviously, there's also a question mark of Ampadu's fitness as well after the Stoke game, so that's taken into consideration. So if he doesn't take Rothwell out, I think he might revert back to Tanaka and Rothwell and put Ethan back on the bench, just sort of rest his legs so he's coming back from injury. Yeah. And as I say, with no Firpo fit, and it doesn't sound like Verber's fit either, we may see Isaac Schmidt for a first start for Leeds United colours, because we know what Sam Byram with his injuries is like and what have you. There, he can't play so many games so many times. It should be a shame, because if he does feature tomorrow night, he'll hit 200 games for Leeds. So I think it's Meslier as well. Will hit 200 games as well. Pat Bamford's on 196 at the moment, so he's sort of next in line to hit 200 if involved. But the good thing is we've got the options, and it's probably what we didn't have last season. We have got the strength in depth.
We do, yeah.
This season, and I think whatever Daniel does will work. It's like, it's amazing. You read social media when the team came out on Thursday night. Oh, he's rested Tanaka. We're going to lose. Lo and behold, you bring your club captain back in to play away from home with Joe Rothwell, and lo and behold, we win the game 2-0 and quite comfortably in the end. So it's a nice problem to have. Personally, I think you might see Rothwell and Tanaka in the centre midfield, and I think you may see Isaac Schmidt at left back if Sam Byram doesn't make it.
Yeah, and I'll be okay with it. I've no massive issue with it at all. A great point here, mate. Sorry about the previous comment we were talking about. I thought this was really good. Gus Hamer's got 5 goals and 5 assists. Aronson's got 6 goals and 2 assists in the championship, and people wanted 15 million spent on Hamer. I think we've got number 10 right now who's, so it's fine. Fine so far.
Absolutely.
2 more assists from Brendan.
Yeah.
Would be great.
And it'll come. It'll come.
Yeah, let's move on then. Stats. Meslier, I wanted to have a quick chat about him. You mentioned the 200 games. Will make him the second youngest keeper in Leeds history to get to that mark. Who's the youngest, Stats?
Incredible. I want to say, did Gary Sprake make 200? Yeah. I'm not looking at anything. I'm looking at absolutely nothing. I think David Harvey made over 300, but I think he wasn't as young as, because obviously Harvey came in to replace Spake. But yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? And they've not had many goalkeepers that have made that many. Also, I think John Lukic made over 200 in 2 spells at Leeds as well. So yeah, that's it. It's incredible to see where he's come from, because he came in the 2019-2020 season towards the back end of it, made his debut against Hull City in a 4-0 victory at the KCOM, and has kind of grown since then. Yeah, I know he splits opinion, Ilan Meslier, I get that, but goalkeepers are so much in the public eye because
that was Gary Sprake.
Yeah.
They're very, I mean, the things I heard about Sprake going up for my dad, and I look at Ilan Meslier now and go, they're pretty similar. They're in good. They're in successful Leeds teams at the moment, doing well, but have errors in their game, and sometimes do it in the bigger. Like my dad used to always say, "You worry about Gary Sprake in the big games."
Yeah, and Gary Sprake threw one in against Chelsea in the FA Cup in 1970. So, and he's had his errors.
And John Lukic mentioned as well. Lukic punched the ball into his own net against Rangers in the Champions League.
And he won the First Division title the season before. So keepers will make mistakes. Peter Schmeichel's made mistakes. Every goalkeeper's made mistakes. Even Alisson's made mistakes at Liverpool, especially when Rodrigo scored at Anfield a couple of seasons ago. No goalkeeper is not going to make a mistake. Whoever you are, it is part and parcel of football, unfortunately, and it's just because you're the last line of defence, it's more focused than ever before.
Yeah, the numbers on this. Meslier becomes the second youngest Leeds United goalkeeper, 200 appearances after Gary Sprake. Sprake made 200 appearances by the age of 21 years old and 188 days, which is at
Brilliant.
that time, to be
Yeah.
that young and playing that
In the
much
60s and
is
70s, I
incredible.
think. Yeah.
Melier's hit 200 appearances on 24 years of age in 302 days. So nearly 5 years,
Yes.
3 or 4 years older
You've
than,
just
than
ruined my tweet for tomorrow because I was literally going to tweet all that tomorrow, but
nobody
hey ho.
watches this stats. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. All good. All good. All good. All good. But they're the kind of things I kind of look out for.
Yeah.
And obviously Sam Byram at the end of the spectrum, and it's been interesting with Sam that had he stayed at the 15-16 season, he might have been on probably 250, 300 appearances, but to get to 200 is incredible.
Yeah.
But sort of policy, couldn't it battle? There you go. There you go. Gary Sprake had howls. Every goalkeeper's had howls.
Yeah, as someone said there previously, Gary Sprake didn't make a lot of mistakes, but when he did, they were big ones.
Correct. Absolutely.
So, yeah, different time as well. Anyway, stats. Folks, let me know in the comments your score predictions. We'll stick them up on the screen in a sec. So just send me through what you think the scoreline is going to be. I'll start and we'll come back to them in a sec. Stats, let me know what you think the scoreline is going to be before we move on to transfer stuff.
I think it'll be tricky tomorrow, but we're keeping clean sheets. We're not conceding many away from home, let alone Ellen Road. And I'm going to go for a close but 1-0 victory. And I want to see Rothwell score. I don't know why. I want to see Rothwell or Tanaka score, but I'm going to go for a 1-0 Leeds victory.
1-0, yeah. I've gone 3-0 Leeds. I got a bit confident after the Stoke game. I've gone 3-0 away Leeds. I'd like to see that, but I think as poor as Derby were in Ellen Road, it's in their place. It's a different place. You know, there's a bit more pressure on them as well. So, yeah. 3-0 from me. Let's move on and have a quick chat about some transfer stuff. I'm trying to start these score predictions coming in so I don't miss anybody. Little end. There's loads of them now. There's loads of people here tonight. If you could stick a like on the video as well, 183 in the house. It'd be great if you could stick a like on it. Gets it out to more people, and that's to be seen by more people. Will I be doing a watch along tomorrow on Big Up? I will. So tomorrow on the Big Up platform, bigup.com. Leeds United The View. You can find it there. If you want to contribute to the comments section, you need to join. It's free to join and become a member of my community, which is all free. And if you do that, and at halftime and at full time, if you want to come on and have a chat with me, or have a chat with me in Stats, if Stats is around doing it as well, you can pop on with us and we can have a little chat. We did it last week as a test. It went well. We're going to do it again this week. So if you want to get involved in the watch along and give your opinions and your views on camera, love to see you, love to have you. So yeah, let me know that. And tomorrow I'll be live about half an hour before kickoff, but I'll put the details out on Twitter, on Blue Sky and Threads as well. And I'll stick something in the community tab here as well for those that aren't on those social platforms. But let's move on, Stats, and let's talk about some transfers. So Leeds are coming into January. Frank has been a little bit bullish, I'm going to say.
Yes.
About money available, and if they need to do something, they'll be awake. Emi Buendia has been heavily linked. Villa seem to have relaxed their stance. Noel Tornquist, the goalkeeper from Sweden, has been linked again with Leeds. Apparently Leeds have been over there watching them, and there's concrete interest there as well. What do you think Leeds do in January, Stats, and what do you think Leeds need to do in January?
I don't think we need too much. Look, these players have got to the top of the league halfway through the season, and you don't upset the apple cart too much. And I said on a previous show when Faustino Asprilla came in the March window in '96 for Newcastle, it went horribly wrong, and Man United then clawed back a 12-point lead and won the Premier League in '96. Yeah. We'd all love a number 10, obviously. Buendia is probably the one that the Leeds will look at. Worked at Daniel Farke with Norwich. I think the interesting thing is the striking department. Obviously, we said off air the situation with Joe Gelhardt and Patrick Bamford, who at the moment just aren't featuring. And I think it was telling that Leeds were cruising against Oxford the other week. Paddy didn't come on. Same against Stoke on Thursday night. So that might be an issue to look at. And as what Paddy's been brilliant at Leeds, but I think it just sometimes comes to an end, doesn't it? It is what it is with footballers. They've kind of got a lifespan at certain clubs. You don't get players that stay there forever. And Paddy, Pascal, and Ilan are kind of the final three, aren't they? Sort of the Bielsa era. So I think they're the ones that I think we'll be keeping an eye on. I think if we do lose Paddy or Joe Gelhardt, then I think you might see a striker possibly come in to ease the burden, because all it takes is an injury to Matteo or possibly for João Peru, and then you're kind of stuck with just one striker for the remainder of the season, which you can't do. You need to rotate. But saying that, Daniel's done brilliantly with managing both João Peru and Matteo Joseph. So yeah, I do feel that might be an option, the striking department, but it remains to be seen where we are and whether Paddy wants to be here or not, whether Joff wants to be here or not, wants to go out and get first team football, which you can understand. That Paddy's over 30 now, and it's a short career in football, and he probably wants to go and get some football. But yeah, I agree with that, Darren, that the wage is an issue. Maybe Wrexham, I think, are possibly one of the teams that may be able to afford him. Louis Barry.
PSR in League One, so
yeah, can he make the step up? Been brilliant at Stockport County this season. So yeah, but I don't think it'll be a busy window. I don't think we need too much. If we were sort of sixth in the league, then you might look at it. But we're top of the table at the moment. The likelihood is if we can get 6 points in the next 2 games, we will be top of the table going into that January transfer window. And I think Daniel has said no business will be done until after the Hull City game on the 4th of Jan. So yeah, it was an interesting time, but there'll be no big hitters leaving the club. I can't see that. I know there was rumours that Tottenham wanted Struick and Meslier's being watched. That won't happen as far as I'm concerned, because it'll just completely...
Careful what you say, Stats. If you mention a Premier League club with Meslier, you'll have a day of dogs abuse in the comments.
God,
people got so wound up with the story about Meslier. I had to end up blocking a ton of people. The amount of stuff that was way over the top that was said about that, and it was like, it's not my story. I've just taken it from somewhere else. And now apparently, can't say credible, but the Sun and a couple of other mainstream outlets have said that it's Manchester United and Arsenal that are keeping an eye on him. But they're very much looking at him as a backup keeper. That's what they're looking at.
Correct.
He's 24, backup.
Yeah. And Ilan will know that he's playing first division championship football. Happy, top of the league, can't ask for more than that. So as I said, the only thing for me might be looking at the striking departments, obviously on depending what happens with Pat Bamford and with Joffrey Gelhardt in January.
I can't see Paddy being happy with the situation. And again, removing Leeds United from the equation, as a footballer at that age, regardless of wage, this is his legacy years. Like, what does he want to be remembered for? And if you say, well, he sat on the bench for the last 4 years of his career, and picked up a salary, well, he'll want to go out and play football. He will still think he can contribute at a decent level. Arguably, he could still probably contribute in the Championship. I know Southampton have had a look at him as well to help them with short-term issues. So, I think from a Paddy's perspective, if he wants to play football, then the conversation around his wages will need to take place. Whether Wrexham take him on loan, with a loan to buy, maybe in the Championship they can afford the wages, and then maybe they do a split on the wage where they take 30% of it, Leeds play some of it, and it just gets him off the books a little bit. Joffrey looks, for all intents and purposes, like he's heading towards Scotland. QPR are interested in him, but Rangers are consistently being mentioned with him. I don't see any reason why he'd go to Celtic. They've got plenty of strikers there, and they've got Adam Mead from coming in last season.
Correct.
An average striker doing reasonably well in Scotland. So I think Rangers looks like the next spot for Joffrey. The fact he hasn't been in the squad since Bristol City as well suggests that Frack has already made that decision on him. And then the other one I wanted to ask you about as well, mate, was Max Ferber.
Yes.
Comes in, does really well. We're all really happy with him. And this knee injury pops up again. Someone said to me yesterday, it was a comment saying, do you think he's injured or do you think he's going? And the club are just managing the PR about it. And I'm not sure, but I did raise an eyebrow going, well, it's interesting timing.
I think fans can always be sceptical, can't they, this time of year? I don't. It's interesting with Max, isn't it? It's not kind of... There's still some fans on his back, as there were when Brendan came in, and they both worked really hard. Obviously, Max scored in the victory against Derby County at the start of the month. So we do have options there, but we've got to be careful with the left back option, because obviously Firpo's injured, Schmidt's a bit untried, and Byram's can't play so many games in so many days because of his injuries. So it's probably one to keep an eye on. I'd have thought had he gone in, he might have gone in the summer transfer window. He's still here, but I certainly think it might be one to keep an eye on between now and January the 31st.
Yeah, interesting comments coming out of Red Bull Salzburg as well. The CEO of Red Bull saying they won't be looking at this in January, and the Red Bull commercial director coming out and saying, actually, the money's there on the table. We'll have to see what Leeds want to do. So you're like, okay, the top of Red Bull saying we're not doing this, and the club are going, man, we might still do it. We might still have a crack at it. So we'll wait to see. Firpo is out until the new year. No update on the date on that. And I do still think Daniel Fragg is a little bit annoyed at him. And I think that might play in. But I think we might see Isaac Schmidt tomorrow and get a good look at him, which would be nice. But yeah, as everyone said, Michael said, fairly a promotion will be tougher next season with Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton likely to be relegated and parachute. Yeah, complete. We have to
worry about that next season. I'll worry about that in May to see what league we're in.
Yeah, we just need to get up.
Yes,
I'm okay, and everyone's saying about Schmidt as well. I'm okay with Schmidt coming in and starting left back, especially in this kind of a game. We think it's the right time to do it. We'll have to wait and see. Right, let's get to the score predictions before we wrap up. Danny Talk Sport saying game will be harder than Stoke, going for 1-1 draw. Gulf Coast, Florida, man of Gulf Coast, 2-1 to Leeds, a very Leedsy score. And we've got Luke is saying 5-1 in Andy Davis. 5-1.
Oh, Leeds record with Andrew Davis as referee.
Oh, right.
He's 8 games, 5 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat.
Thank you for that.
I'd be used
yeah, I'll get that off the screen. Get through the comment. There we go. 2-0 from Duncan again. Derby will likely score, so 2-1. Leeds 1-0. That'll be a nice 1-0 away. 2-1 to Leeds from CB. Enzo, 2-1 to Leeds, fingers crossed. Karen says Hubby is optimistic, 3-1. He's less optimistic than me. I think 3-0. I'm regretting that scoreline already. 2-1 to Leeds, a tricky match. Yep, 3-1 to Leeds from Wall. Sean Healy 1-1.
Thanks,
sorry,
Sean.
Fair enough, Sean. Keeping us level, mate. Keeping the expectations where they need to be. Good lad. 2-0 says Soufla. 1-1 be a hard game. I think it'd be a tricky game, all right, Jem.
Yeah.
Wayne's going for 3-1. Martin's going for 1-0. 1-1 or 4-0. All depends.
4-0.
If we score first,
yes.
4-0. If we don't,
would
maybe
it be the biggest victory at Derby, though, if it was before? We did win 5-0 back in 97-98 when Stephen McPhail produced one of the greatest impacts as a substitute with a wonderful left-footed ball out to the Derby defence for Jim Floyd Hasselbank to make it 5. I remember watching that on Sky back in March 98. That'd be a lovely repeat. So, yes. We shall see.
Left foot Stephen McPhail had.
Oh, phenomenal.
Emmett Fitzsimons going for 2-1 win, and Chris Gillett going for a 3-0 win. So, sorry, Vegas there as well. Vegas got one in, 2-0 to Leeds, and Free Falling going for 4-1 or 4-0. Topanana with a 3-0, and Ronald, with a 2-0 to Leeds. So, and same with Led Zepp as well. So, all very confident. The last time we were this confident, we lost. So, let's see how this one goes, and hopefully it's better.
Yes.
Some brief updates. There will be a warm-up video going out at 8 a.m. in the morning to give you all your stats and data going into the game. 10 minutes of no opinion, just data and stats leading into the game, your little stats pack that you want to know. And then tomorrow afternoon, half an hour before kick-up on the Big Up platform, I'll give you a quick look at what this looks like in case you haven't seen it before. Big Up is a live streaming sport-only platform. It's pretty new. It's still very much in its beta. We're playing on. These are some of the other people that are there. I'm here somewhere. There's the view. So Big Up /LU, the view. That's last week's one. And we'll be live about half an hour. You can get involved. We've got live tactics boards, scoreboards, all the usual stuff, but we've got some tools we can use. And interested to see how that one goes. So if you want to have a chat, if you want to have that, I'll try to do my best commentary on it. I've tried last week. A lot of people saying that they couldn't watch the game listening to my commentary. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Do I talk about the game? What do I do? I don't know. So anyway, it'll be there tomorrow for everyone to check out. Stats, and if Stats has said if he's around for the away games, he will pop in as well. So we'll have the two of us popping around. And Joe Blackburn joined us last week, as well as a couple of people phoning in as well. So little fan phone at the end. So worthwhile checking it out if you want to. But as I said, go over. You have to become a member first. All free. Join that, and then you've got access to the full chat, full features, threads, emojis, everything else, and then being able to actually get involved in the stream as well. So want to do more of that. Right, Stats, anything you want to leave us with before we wrap up?
No, just to wish all the viewers a very happy new year. I'm hoping we may be back for a Blackburn preview because the games are so thick and fast. I think, what day is it? It's the 28th day, isn't it? Yeah, 28th today, play on the 29th. Then 30th and 31st, 1st of Jan, before a tricky trip to the KCOM or the MKM Stadium against Hull. But to wish you all a very, very happy new year. Drink sensibly, and I'll either see you in the new year or see you prior to the Blackburn game.
Yep, folks, have a lovely rest of your Christmas. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And be good. And if you can't be good, be safe. And I will talk to you soon. See you, folks. Bye.